Hey, Coach Candace here, and I want to share with you a lesson that one of our clients reflected on as part of our Nutrition Kickstart program. But I believe it's something that is helpful for many people to adopt as a lot when it comes to a mindset around improving their health, their fitness, or their nutrition. And that is the lesson of consistency over perfection. Too many folks focus on getting it perfect and trying to maintain a perfect path, and only to find that that is often not sustainable. And what will often yield the better results is to focus on consistency and making better choices a vast majority of the time, which leaves you the freedom to enjoy or do whatever the other small portion of the time. And her comment was, I used to always give up if my day was not perfect, but now I am just striving for consistency. And this has allowed her the flexibility to, yes, make the better decisions the majority of the time while enjoying some special treats or some special occasions with her husband whenever she so feels, and is still making progress towards her goals. And one example I'll give for you today, and just breaking down, let's say, for example, someone's protein goal. So for example, if someone has a goal of 135 grams of protein daily, let's say on Monday they get 135, Tuesday 150, Wednesday 136, Thursday they have a little dip at 120, Friday they bounce back, they get 135, but let's say on the weekend, Saturday they get 100, Sunday they get 115. Now it's easy to think and point out just those less than half that were kind of like subpar or sub goal. It's easy to think, okay, all progress is lost. But really, if you average out all of those days across the week, the average comes out to 127 grams a day for the week. So we are not what we do any one moment in time, we are what we do consistently. And yes, of course, there's still an opportunity to bump up and reflect on how can we improve those weekends. But just it goes to show, that imperfect weekend did not derail you as much as you thought it did. But on the other hand, let's compare someone who tries to be perfect, and let's say they're perfect on Monday, they get 135. Tuesday, they try for perfect, they get 135. Wednesday, again, they strive for perfect, they get 135. And then let's say whatever happens, they don't plan well enough, or just, again, life happens sometimes, and then Thursday they get 75 and they think, well, that's it, I failed. And let's say for the next 3 days they get 50 because maybe now their give a damn has busted and they just feel like all their progress is lost. That person who has strived for perfection and fallen off at the first sign of inconsistency now has an average of 90 grams a day. Whereas if they've just tried to stay in and around that number, or again, just kept going after an imperfect day, because for example, what if this person here gave up after their Thursday of 120, they then bounced back on that Friday and had a better result versus the person who had an imperfect day but then dropped off and did not do as well. But within this example, I also want to show you the difference not doing well on the weekends can impact you. So, which could probably be the topic of a whole other video on how to approach that. But for example, let's take this person up here who's, again, striving for consistency but did fall off a bit on the weekend. If we just take their 135 plus their 150, 136, 120, 135, and cross those 5 days, even though there was imperfect, one day higher, one day lower, their average was 135. And just to see that imperfect, the not consistent week, and I apologize, is what brought them down a little bit. So, and again, perhaps in a future video, I'll address how to improve your consistency over the weekends. But just goes to show, because sometimes people think, well, what difference does it make on the weekend if I've been better during the week? And apparently it does make a significant difference in your overall consistency. So, but to summarize, you can apply this process to, or I want to say, I guess you could say process to how you approach your overall health. So again, if you're trying to, achieve a certain calorie goal, and let's say your goal is 1,800 calories a day, again, allowing for that little fluctuation, and don't judge yourself by that any one moment in time, but just to look at what you consistently do. Or for example, maybe you're trying to achieve a certain step goal every day and you have one day that's not as active as the others. Again, that one day is not going to necessarily drag you down from making progress, but to look at what you consistently do. So for example, given my job and activity, I'm often clocking about 11,000 steps a day. So if come the weekend, I do have a day here and there that is like 8,000 steps, like I'm not sweating it, because more often than not, I'm averaging way more than that. So again, not dwelling on how much any one day brings you down. So this is an element of our Nutrition Kickstart program. It's more than just teaching you tips and strategies to approaching your health and fitness, but also helping you adopt a different mindset around how you approach your health, nutrition, or fitness. So that's something that we do, and we can work with anyone from anywhere. So if you believe it's something that we can help you with, feel free to reach out. It's 8 weeks long and it progresses gradually. So we don't ask you to go from 0 to 100, because again, we know that is not going to help you be successful in the long run, and we want you to gradually build those habits. And if you would like to and continue with that for 4 weeks beyond, or do something more personalized, we can also help you with that too. So thank you very much for listening, and by all means, if you have any questions, or you know just have again just any questions that you might have on that, please don't hesitate to ask. We're always happy to help.